Good morning. Let's rock and roll. The LNI facilities people just got my equipment out of my office. So yay! I am going to be able to organize. Um, One thing, walk with me, watch your eyes, is that today is. Did I even write anything down? No, I put it on my phone. I swear, I have 1,000 journals, notes, lists everywhere, right? And so I do have systems in place to get and keep me on track, but they require, of course, maintenance. So I'm doing that today, right? I'm excited. I got some room now in my, uh, what do you call it? In my office. And I'll be able to do that. My dog, well, I'll show you that in a little bit. We had emergency surgery last night. Um, Still have this rescue dog in my laundry room, dealing with transportation with my kids, totaled car. I mean, life, right? Am I right? So, uh, lots to do today. I am definitely looking at a level 1 on the verge of a level 2 clean. And so I'm going to film everything, of course, so you can come in and see my big mess, which Chelsea is not going to like. But hey, this is the reality. Even people who clean for a living, even people who have a ton of organizing skills, have life happen and things get out of hand. So I will show you what basically a week of major, life events all piling up on one can do. And then just imagine if individuals had even more life events over more time, and children. I don't have young children, and full-time jobs, right? I've been out of reporting to full-time work for over a month now. So I've had a little bit more time to maintain even in those situations. So that is part of how I've kept it around the level 1 and level 2. So we'll make some coffee. Look at this baby. Yeah. People, right? So let's get started on. I'm going to flip the camera around and show up close and personal and really get into the mess that we're dealing with, because this is, this happens to everybody. And my job is to not only, get it cleaned up, right? I have hobbies, stuff, art stuff, markers, pens, car jacks from, the car accident. Anyway, so this happens to everybody, right? But my job is not only to be able to effectively spot the systems in place, or spot the process needed to help put systems in place that make it quicker and easier for a family, or a family who hires a maid, janitorial, or house cleaner to come in to take the chaos from a week or a month of, really, really busy things, and, laundry that hasn't been put away, shoes that have been kicked off, dog toys that have been misplaced, random papers that, jotted down our measurements and then didn't file it away in a place that we needed. A bowl of food that just, got past us, we were too tired or something happened. I mean, it happens to everybody, right? This is about a week of, we had, like I said, the car wreck, stress. I'm in intensive therapy for my PTSD issues that were flared up with my job. So 4 hours of that, trying to launch a business, trying to advertise for myself, research, find connections. My poor baby had surgery just last night, and she had been sick for a couple of days. Let me see if you can see her. So that took a lot of energy, fostering a foster dog that, I have to mostly keep quarantined. So I have to carve out time to, take care of these needs of living, breathing, people and creatures. And so the home that doesn't feel like it's living and breathing oftentimes can get ignored, forgotten. I mean, I don't have a TV in my bathroom. And yeah, so, things like that. It gets a little bit harder to get into the nooks and crannies down below in showers, and stuff like that. So, obviously most people do like a quick scrub of their toilet, after they use the restroom every other day or every couple days. But there's still, deep cleaning that needs to be done to make sure that it stays clean. I'm thinking of putting my medication reminder because it is very difficult to remember your medication, right? I think I'm probably going to put it right here instead of on the mirror. What do you think? So let's see what else, right? We have at the baseboards that pile up after time, a random hair tie on the ground. The bed linens need to be changed. I'm accumulating snacks and my selfie stick is loose. My stick is loose. I'm accumulating snacks and cups and I switched purses and never bothered to put that purse away. I have my little catch-all basket for clothes at the end of the day that, either I just want a catch-all place, right? I don't know what else to say about that. It could be that I put my pajamas in that so that I can quickly grab them. Yeah, so here's one thing about level 1 though. Look, level 1 is that I have stuff all over my house, but I also have empty spaces, right? You'll see, let me just show you real quick that while, yes, I have a lot of stuff all over my house, I actually have fairly empty drawers and able to find places to put these things. So, for example, oh God, yes, my closet. These drawers down here are empty, pretty much. There's one outfit. I was looking for those, right? Empty drawer, pretty much empty drawer. Socks, slightly empty basket, right? Empty shelf space, tons of empty hangers, empty baskets here, right? So the point of a level 1 is not that it doesn't get really, really, really untidy and messy and even a little bit grimy, is that it's because everything needs to be picked up, put back in their proper places, reset, with the organizing methods that we have in place in our family. No, Frankie, you gotta leave her alone. She's injured. Leave her alone. She's injured and she's on some good stuff to go relax. It's that this basket of laundry has a home in empty areas and it just needs to be put away, right? So that's kind of the part about level 1. So that's the promise of level 1 also for my business. When a level 3 would be that all those drawers would be full and this stuff would be around the house. And a lot of it might be either unusable or things that I'm not using anymore. Or if it is stuff we are using, it's just not organized in a way that makes it easy to put it away, and it's not taking best advantage of space, which obviously makes it easier for the buildup, at the baseboards, and easier for, things to get bumped, because I had a level 2, we didn't just move in here, right? Things to get damaged. And it just makes it harder to clean, right? So anyway, so I'm going to brew my coffee, turn off my heater, because I will be probably opening the windows. And yeah, so we are going to get at it today, and see what we can accomplish. Oh, the coffee is done. Okay, so we're all flipped around. Now let's have a look. So I have, of course, a laundry basket to collect all the dirties around. And then I have each a container, 4 containers, and then also the small one I'm probably going to use as well. Oh, there's my dog's food bowl. Okay, so I got all these different containers. Empty containers is a great sign that we are at a level 1, or else these would probably all be stuffed. And then obviously I need to take out the recycling, and then of course take out the garbage. Now let's take a closer look at the ick, just for for you. We got just random stuff on the floor, accumulated doggy hair, little dust bunnies. And yes, I do vacuum. Okay. And then the office requires a lot because, well, it was being used as a work office. And so all of the equipment has been taken out, which gives me more room. We have some scraping on the wall, some smudging on the light switches. Still a need for organizing of craft supplies. We got paint there, coloring, art supplies, and crafting sewing supplies there. Candles, a spare mirror kind of in the corner, and then of course the whole desk setup needs to be cleaned up. We got coffee stain here, dirty dishes. My printer has all sorts of smudges on it and dust from not being used. We got the windowsill has, let me get that out of the way. A little bit of stuff in the way, right? I just had to throw my hula hoops to get you close enough to see the stains and stuff on the windowsill. Random things that have been accumulated from shuffling around. Okay. We have garbage. This mat that I used for my office chair has been pretty much broken. I'll probably have to recycle it. A spare wall mount for the TV that I need to organize. A bag of mixed holiday supplies and stuff that didn't get put away when we packed all the holiday supplies, because, little things get missed. Some items that I want to hang up. And then we've got this as the coat closet. So that closet has each box of seasonal items. So I rotate them out. I have all the outdoor and camping stuff accessible now, and the fall holiday stuff is underneath. And then every season I do my deep cleans. The following season's items will be put in accessible space, and then the rest is in the inaccessible space. So I rotate everything out. This is just magazines for vision boarding. I had tossed all of my books and everything that was on the counter or this table into this empty box, right? So this box was also empty when I was doing my video yesterday for my launch. I probably need to do some wood glue on this and maybe a slight touch up with the paint. We have really bad lighting in here, and I've been meaning to change all of my light bulbs to the better ones. So I might do that. We got just a random wrapper from coming home with Freya's surgery. My remote keeps ending up in all these weird places. Need to wipe the debris from setting things on that chair. I took the battery out of this thing because it was kept turning on randomly. Kind of weird. We got some holiday stuff that needs to be put away. So Valentine's Day is over. So I'll be putting the few decorations away and then bringing out spring stuff, putting away excess shoes, things like that. I might clean this off as well and fill these holes. Clean the door. Clean the door of smudges. Stuff like that, right? Oh, sorry, Freya. I bumped her. Oh, neighbor. And then we have the doggy window. Definitely needs some caulking and a good touch up and a good clean and probably a treatment to keep it like that. I'll check behind here to see if anything has fallen back there, and then I'll probably wash the top layer of the couch cover and sort that out. I might pack up a few pillows and put them in storage so that we just have a couple pillows here. And then, of course, move everything in vacuum. Dust, and really, you can tell that it's not really built up. There is dust, but it's not really built up. It's, you can definitely see the dust, but it doesn't bring onto your finger. I'll get these corners really good. That's actually clean laundry, but I needed the basket. So obviously my basket method, I'm going to just get everything into the right rooms. Here's further organizing resource items that I've been using to organize my belongings. The dog beds need to be washed. My little corner needs to be picked up and cleaned. Bed linens need to be changed. Of course, a good scrub and mop. So we'll get a good scrub and a good mop on the floor and touch up the caulking around here. Obviously, I don't do home repair, so as long as it gets touched up, we're good. And then sorting and organizing my clothes, getting the laundry done. We want to get, behind here really good. There's a little bit of dust there, if you can see there. Yeah, so, and then there's me. Definitely got to get me tidied up here. Smudges. So we'll first get everything into my coffee. Need more. We'll first get everything into its proper room via my basket collection method. It's probably not mine. I'm sure somebody coined it, but it's not rocket science. So whoever claims to own this method, whatever, we'll first get everything into the right spot, and then we will start applying chemicals that need to be applied for cleaning. Ooh, gosh, look how smudgy my fridge is. See that? Oh, you can't see it from that angle. There you go. Yes. Sanitize that. Obviously, we're going to get any garbage out of the fridge, anything expired, and do the stove top treatment, do the oven spot treatment so that kind of stuff doesn't build up and get burnt on. I've already cleaned my dishwasher, but I probably will do another deep clean in there just to maintain it. You'll see that stuff gets built up here. And then also down in the drain. And I'll probably double check my chemicals and all of that under the sink. So, and then the caulking, just lots of touching up and good wipe down for maintenance purposes, along with the clean. And so this would be a level 1. So as you can see, there is, scrubbing, repairs, and some buildup, like my bird debris buildup around here. I need a better solution for my bird. But as you can see, it probably doesn't appear to you that it's been built up after not being deep cleaned for 6 months to a year. Oh, I was going to the mirror. Still figuring this thing out, right? Okay, so that's the overall. I'm going to set the camera up and get moving.
Oh my gosh, poor Freya in the background. She is just like, what is going on? Frankie always wants to help me. He is usually either right on me or right in front of me, thinking he's leading me where I'm going. But yeah, he doesn't really know. So I always like to start, of course, to get any obvious trash out and then have nice clean areas ready for the rest of the trash. So we're taking out the garbage. I do also like to do my really deep cleans and my decluttering like a day or two before trash day, just so that everything is ready to go and I'm not sitting with those items, to change my mind. For example, if there was an item I wanted to toss that possibly I could reuse. And I am all for DIY, reuse, recycle, and upcycling things. And over the years, I have found a process where there is a little bit more logic to it and a little bit more realistic level on how much I'm able or willing to reuse and recycle. So I generally don't hold on to things if I can't see that I'm going to finish that project within like 6 months. If that 6 months has gone and I've held on to something, um, and that item is still not being used, I generally am willing to donate it or toss it or let it go. Uh, I just kind of gauge it, not by the value of everything, because I truly believe everything can pretty much be reused. I mean, everything, right? But I instead gauge it by, do I have the skills to reuse this? Could it benefit someone else? Is it going to happen anytime soon? Or perhaps when I'm ready, could I accrue this item again in the future for little to no cost? Have I used it? So I consider all those things. Now, I have been decluttering for many years. So I actually had apartments in 2011 and sooner and prior. And then after that, I actually moved quite a bit, but I still always had my nice belongings and stuff, either in storage or where I moved. But I did notice that because of my dreaming of this day where I have the house and I have the place to put everything, that I was in my storage unit accumulating a lot of stuff. And one day I just kind of was like, okay, let me go in there and, see if since, oh my gosh, look at Freya she had a drain tube in. So I put like a little pad to try to catch whatever drained out. Anyway, yuck, right? So, what I was saying was essentially I made a decision that I was storing items that someone else could actually use at that time if they were at the place in their life where they could, for example, put up a greenhouse. I don't regret selling my greenhouse for $50 like over 6 years ago or something like that, just because now I have a house and I could have used it and popped it up, right? So it's things like that. Uh, this is part of the journey that I would like to share with everybody is that, yes, my stuff gets super untidy, super messy, but because I have decluttered and I have a decluttering process where when things come in, things go out. And that I also have a certain organizing system to where getting things put away is much quicker. You actually really find that so much of your belongings, like I was just explaining, if it's not actually actively being used, having it around causes more stress than not having it. And this is what I help people with on that sort of conversation with themselves and also with their belongings and their home and their space. So essentially, it's about coming to a point in your relationship with your items where you have decided, am I willing to commit this space? Am I willing to commit the time and the energy of shuffling this thing around or walking by and looking past it and it making me feel bad that I still haven't started that project or I still, haven't done whatever the thing is reminding you about. And so that is something that I have been working on for many, many years. I've watched a lot of, I've really kind of just in my own personal life researched this. I love Clutterbug. I love the Minimal Mom, Marie Kondo, just, all of the different ones. All right. So, yeah. So that scale down there was wrong. I think I posted that I weighed like 260 something, but actually I'm down to 240. I think at the time of filming this video, I was like 250. And now, today, I am 243. So, hey, I've already lost 7 pounds. It's just been like a week or two. Can't remember. But yeah, so essentially what I do is I take my little baskets and I scoot them through the process, the home, and as they end up in certain rooms, they either drop off. As you noticed, I had just dumped things. I just drop off the items in the area that I was bringing it to and grab something that needs to be taken away. Especially laundry is a great example. Hey, my floors are fairly clean. I do clean very often, even though things get very messy also. But anyway, so yeah, I drop the items that I have been accumulating on my way to the area, and then I use the empty basket to grab stuff that are not supposed to be there and continue that process. So I would be tidying someone's house in this way and kind of getting everything in the right spot. Yeah, a little bit of skating going on there. Um, and then once I get everything where it belongs, I will usually do, like a quick wipe down, like kind of like a quick little reset. And then and then organizing would come next. So if you purchased a level 1, for example, I would get everything where it belongs and put things away according to whatever system you already have. So I wouldn't like reorganize it or anything like that. But if you had a level 2 or a level 3, we would also be setting up organizing systems, and I would help organize and declutter. So that is the difference there, and it's absolutely worth it because really it's something that you would need, you would really need that one time. And then if you wanted, to maintain it, or if, you have some life changes, maybe you want to do like twice a year or even once a year. And yes, Save the Dolphins, I do tear my bottle holder, those little plastic things. I can't remember where I saw that, but I try to be as eco-friendly as possible. Although I'm not like so against, plastics and stuff like that. I do reuse my straws. I often don't get straws when I go out. Um, if I do have straws, I will usually reuse them. Even the plastic ones, I have a little spot for them. So again, I do reuse things. I don't just throw everything away. And then, of course, I cut or tear the bottle holders, just things like that, because they end up in the water. So I'm a little bit of an eco-friendly person, but I'm also like realistic about just the fact that, really we need the systems in the community. So I do what I can. And then, yeah, we all do our best. Yep. So I have had that basket that was my office basket. So whenever I find things that are going to eventually go to the office, I just threw that in there. This is all dirties. So I'm able to combine the dirties there. And then I have another open basket for putting in my closet to accumulate the dirties. Perfect. So yeah, so this area is fairly done. And yep, I'm sweating my face off there. That was actually a pretty good and pretty quick little tidy, but I think, yep. So taking out the trash, all of that, really good. Um, Once I get everything really tidied up is when I start to do like the actual cleaning and stuff. But another thing is I don't use rags also for all the hair and stuff in the bathrooms. I'll just take a little handful of toilet paper and do a quick wipe down first and then use rags. So when I was cleaning at a motel, I noticed that some of the cleaning people, they would just wipe everything around, like the hair, and I don't know, they would also use a scrubber, the same scrubber for the toilet that they then use on the sink. And anyway, I have plenty of advice for traveling because again, I traveled, I was a traveler, houseless. That's what I was talking about earlier in the video, and I got sidetracked. But yeah, I had an apartments in 2011 and prior, and then I had many, many years where my stuff was in storage, but I accumulated it. And in that process, I learned a lot of these skills, and I figured a lot of this kind of stuff out. So back at the kitchen, we have sweet Freya laying down. She's watching us. Me and Frankie go back and forth. And she's just like, "Yeah, I'm not worried about y'all. I'm just hanging out." She's so funny. I love my dogs. It's worth all the fur all over the house. I just vacuum it all the time. Speaking of which, I got to get my vacuum cleaner repaired. I've taken it apart and cleaned it completely. I do that as part of my service as well. Take apart the vacuum cleaners, take apart different items and make sure that they're deep cleaned. Um, and that way they function better. And I did that, but I think I think the belt got lost or something. And so there's this kid around my area that does vacuum repair. So, I definitely would rather just get something of mine repaired than just constantly buy new stuff, to be honest. I really try to take care of my belongings and just, you know, keep them nice and use them until they just don't work anymore. But generally, my stuff works for a long time. So yeah, anyway, I need to get the vacuum repaired so I can keep it sucks the hair up, honestly, so it works for that when it comes to like in my kitchen and stuff and with the hose, but it's the what do you call it? The I can't get over my big old booty in there. Oh yeah, it's the belt that makes the brush roll on the carpet and actually brushes the carpet. You'll see later how I do my carpet anyway, so I don't rely on that, but still, it doesn't do a very good job. That is Cedar escaping his little spot. That was a rescue dog that we had. Frankie had found that rescue dog and we took it to the vet, got it shots, helped it out, and actually it found its home. So it wasn't where it came from. It was, I found a new home for the dog after about 2.5 months, 3 months. I got that, I think, on my Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so when it comes to the laundry, I do very well. I used to be horrible at laundry, if I'm being honest. I used to just like have no clue. I always pretty much washed my laundry in cold. No, I think there was times where I washed it in hot, but essentially I have developed like really good laundry skills. So I take really good care of my washing machine. I don't just put stuff in there that has like big old buckles or chains to just beat the inside of my dryer and my machine out. I have a special way of folding them to where that stuff is on the inside of the clothes, usually putting them inside out or like folding the top of the pants down over the hip part of the pants, and it stays like that. It doesn't, because I wash on gentle for pretty much everything. It's anything that has, big old buckles or anything that could eventually like uh, tear up my machine or tear up the other clothes. I always wash it on the delicate cycle, and then I pretty much use tap water for every single load, and my laundry always comes out clean. I rarely use hot water, but of course, I'm not opposed to using hot water for certain things. Every now and again, I will wash my towels with hot water and a little bit of bleach. Um, but I usually just do those with tap and a tiny bit of bleach as well. So yeah, I'm very good at getting the laundry taken care of, and I have a good system for it. My clothes don't, because what happened was for a long time I was like, why are my clothes just falling apart? Why are they not fitting right? Why are the seams coming undone? Uh, why does it seem like the material is like thinning? Just, your clothes after a while, it's just like, why is this not nice? And I just, did a lot of research and learned a lot. And then I basically realized, oh, it's okay. So this type of fabric needs to be only with this type of fabric. So it's actually a lot of people. And this is on my grand opening video that's published on my Brunaidh Home Services Facebook page. In my grand opening, I did a little Q&A, and I'll probably have another grand opening because only a couple of people showed up. But I'm thinking now that I've gotten the word out, I'll probably have another one where I offer, discounts and stuff. But anyway, in that grand opening, I was talking about how people sort their laundry by, lights and darks, right? But that is actually like not it. So essentially, you can do lights and darks, but then you also need to do by fabrics. A lot of people don't realize that. So there's the synthetic fabrics, and then there's the natural fabrics. Um, and then the mixed fabrics, and then also like by the usage of the clothes. So, yeah, there's a lot to consider. And then, a lot of people don't realize that you can use like either a pillowcase or a mesh bag to protect items of clothes, or protect, like, say one item of clothes has like zippers all across the front because that's part of the style of it, or chains or something. Put that in a bag in there so that it doesn't get broken or break other items. So, yeah, there's a lot to do with laundry. And what is good about that is that eventually, when your clothing are not falling apart, when they're keeping their structure, and when you feel good about it, you're less likely to constantly want to just buy new clothes thinking that that's the problem, right? um, because new clothes is not necessarily going to fix that problem if the laundry is constantly being treated that way. So, yeah, I usually give the garbage can a good scrub down. Um, so that's kind of a deep cleaning thing that I do. Scrubbing garbage can, getting under the sink, under the cupboards, taking things out of the drawers and vacuuming the drawers out, things like that. Which is why I'm such a huge fan of, decluttering, because if you like, this is why my level twos and level threes are different. Yeah, so the different levels are like that because um, it takes obviously a lot more to. I'm going to do the same clean either way, so the levels are set up because I know what I'll have to move and what I'll have to do to actually clean the home, right? So, like, a maid service or a janitorial service is going to come in and they're mostly going to just wipe down. They're going to do a good job and they're doing their job and their work. But my work is getting the silverware out, getting into the drawers, getting the stuff that's under the sink out, and getting wiping the details of stuff. And so that is why my service is set up the way that it is, because I know how much I have to move and how much I have to do, because no matter which service you get, I'm going to deep clean. I'm not going to like just work around things. And so essentially, that's why if you have a level 2 or level 3 home, you my service is really not for a level 1 can't be done in that kind of home, right? So I could come and just do a quick wipe down and quick tidy, and I totally, could probably do that for some people, if we discuss it. But essentially, the cleaning is always going to be a deep clean. So that's what you're buying, is a deep clean. It's just what type of level, where are you starting? So and yes, the way that I like to do my dishes and stuff is that I have one box for each seasonal type. And so instead of having all of my different dishes out all year long, I have one box for, like that you just saw that I was putting my winter dishes away, right? So it's not just Christmas stuff, but it's just the winter season, whatever pictures of snowmen, holly, whatever makes you think of winter. And then, bigger mugs, things like that, things that you're gonna, lots of glassware and ceramic, things like that. Um, and I have one for each season that fits with the season, and then I have a small set of just the main year-round dishes. And that helps me, of course, have room in my cupboards to be able to keep them clean. And it kind of makes me feel like I have something new to unpack in the season, instead of going out and buying a new seasonal item. I just, since my stuff was put away, unpacking it kind of gives me the same feeling. So it kind of helps me stick to my minimalism. Um, I also vacuum out my own dryer vent there. Pretty much every time or every couple of times, I have a little vacuum. I get in there and vacuum it out. Yeah, everything is dried on medium at the highest. I generally only use the high setting for either quick 5 minute in the beginning, 5 or 10 minute in the beginning, or like a little blast of heat if things just weren't fully dry at the end. But I don't dry anything, not a single thing, not blankets, not pillows, not towels, nothing on high for the entire duration. So I usually do medium heat because I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to burn out my heating element. And second of all, it doesn't really do anything because the main part that dries it is actually the movement and the tumbling and the airflow. So the heat itself is really just overworking it, and it costs more money, and it's just it I would rather run it for a few extra minutes and have my belongings not shrink or not distort and just take care of it. So, yeah, that's kind of my little obsessive thing. But pretty much every time I give a really good vacuum during my deep cleans of my laundry systems, make sure that I get all the little hairs and fuzzies and stuff out of it for the next time. And then, of course, I shake my laundry out before I put it in. So I never just put laundry straight from the basket into the machine. I shake it out and make sure I'm getting things. I clean as I go, if that makes sense. I make sure that things are being cleaned as they get to the next phase in their cleaning. So that's kind of like one of my process improvement skills that I have as a Lean Six Sigma yellow belt, and also just as an organizer and a process kind of analysis person in general. I shake things out. Um, so all of that was shaken before I stacked it nicely into the basket, and then I'm doing another shake, because I would rather vacuum up that hair off of my floor than have it going into my washing machine system and causing clogs and stuff like that. So that's a little tip. Definitely do that. And then here we go to look at how I have my storage set up. Yes. So I did a wonderful organizing in this area because a lot of people don't realize that these little storage areas can start to get super cluttered and difficult to use. So I kept in mind the levels of height of each of these cupboards. And then so I have things at the level of height where it makes sense to grab it. And it's super nice and organized. And then look at this sweet dog. His name is Cedar, and this was his little home for a while. Yeah, until he found his forever home. He was a really, really sweet dog. I almost was trying to trade him for Frankie, but Frankie wasn't having it. Anyway, so yeah, so I organized the uh, room there, and that is something that I do for my business as well. Organize little storage areas because everybody needs a clutter space. Everybody needs a junk drawer. Everybody needs a spot where they can store the things that, whatever, that they're not decorating with. So I have my tools organized over there and stuff like that. But as you can see here, I'm doing warm water for that one. I think that was blankets, and they were used by the dogs. So I was doing, yep, warm water and medium soil level. So a lot of people just think that hot water is it, but actually, if your machine has a setting for the soil level, that's what's up. Use that instead.